There's no doubt that gaming and NFTs are going to go hand in hand, especially with play-to-earn games. Now, Soul Splicer is one of these. Now, what gets me excited about Soul Splicer is a couple of things. First thing is you can see a promo here. This is actual gameplay. This isn't just like an animation. This is actual gameplay. So they've actually developed the game, which is good. Tick one, good. The other aspect that they're going to be doing when it comes down to it is they're also incorporating what you would get with a typical kind of play to earn wolf game style game, where you can actually kind of use your NFTs to kind of collect tokens, or like get tokens, which you can then use. This is the Genesis piece to then actually kind of make additional parts of the collection, which is good, which expands the collection. But then they're also throwing in this really cool utility, which means you can almost splice, which is essentially a kind of combine your NFT with an NFT that is in your collection. So it's not necessarily going to be any NFT, it's going to be like select collections, but the idea is you're going to be able to merge them. So that is the kind of basic rundown about why I'm excited about Soul Splicers. So let's actually kind of kick into it, and I'll read some of their marketing material and fill it in. I did speak to the founder, and when I spoke to the founder, I was able to ask a couple of questions, which meant that I could actually kind of do my research, do my due diligence to actually make this piece of content. So if you do like the fact that I've gone out, spoken to the founder to actually give you some in-depth information, make sure you go down there and hit up that subscribe button. So when it comes down to Soul Splicers, what is it? Soul Splicers is a P2E roguelike game. Now, the idea is that you're going to be going through dungeons to slay monsters, bosses, things like that, and then you're going to be collecting souls, which is the in-game currency. And that allows you to upgrade your character's stats, unlock new abilities, and then also mint new NFTs. Now, when it comes down to the dungeons, what he's actually said is that they're actually building a lot of different kind of rooms or sections, but then they're going to be kind of randomly generated in a particular order. What this means is it means that it'll feel familiar, but it'll be different each time. So it's not like you're just going to be playing the same level over and over. It's going to be somewhat new and refreshing. Now, something that I also want to touch on is the fact that they are going to be doing seasons with this. So the idea is that they're going to be doing a season 1, which will run sort of 6 to 9 months. Then they'll be doing another season. And so when it comes down to the founder, one thing that he said that I thought was super humble is the fact that he's still currently working. Now, I'll read this kind of little excerpt from the About section. Who am I? I'm a hungry game developer with both a bachelor's and master's degree in video game technology. My skills are currently wasted creating simulations for nuclear submarines. I'm out for blood. The NFT gaming scene needs an upgrade, and I'm here to help do that. So essentially, the founder is currently kind of working, using his skills, but not in the way that he wants. And I find this super humble because it's not like he's like, hey, I've quit my job, I'm just going full time, this is what I'm doing. The fact is he's still working in the industry in a sense, and he wants to build something that he wants himself. He's big on NFTs. He's a Neo Tokyo S1 holder. So the fact is he's deep enough in the space that he kind of knows what he wants to see and what he wants to do. And the other founders that have come on board, the people that are going to help him out, are friends that he actually had in the video game technology class at school, so at his kind of university. So I think this is really cool that a bunch of friends that all studied together, that are off doing things that aren't, they're not as passionate about, they're just essentially paying the bills, and they've come together for this. And I think this is really good because if it's being built from a place of passion, it's going to mean that you're going to get a result that actually has all the heart and soul. But if someone has quit their job and they're going full time, there may be a position for it to be rushed to then generate the capital to then kind of move on with the project. I'm not saying there's anything bad with that, but this just comes from a different perspective. This is like an artist painting for the love and not for the monetary aspects. These guys are doing it because it's something they truly love and they studied to do, and they're currently doing, but not in the sense that they want to do it, and they kind of have to deal with the bosses and the middle management that they don't necessarily want to deal with. So I find that really cool and refreshing when it came down to the talk that I had with the founder and how they're all connected together. When it comes down to the sort of NFTs, it says, look, they're going to get voting rights to then help develop what they want to do. And where some clarification comes in this is the idea is that if you are a Genesis holder and just say you've got a whole bunch of subducts and you all of the community has a bunch of subducts and they want subducts to then kind of join in and the soul splicing to happen, that's when the collaboration will then come together. And the idea is the community will then decide what they actually want to do when it comes down to the projects and actually injecting those sort of collaboration projects into it. It's not like they're going to run everything out, and they're not going to be going for stuff that the community doesn't want. So if you're a Genesis holder, you're able to have a say when it comes down to that. So the key points that I kind of wanted to touch on, and what they kind of say here is exactly what you can see. The fact is, it's very sort of fast level. It's very fast, it's very fluid, and it's skill based. It isn't just like sort of clicking sort of farm or clicking kind of like attack. It's actually skill based. So talking about the skill-based aspect, if we head over and look at the white paper, you can actually get an idea of what the gameplay is, and then also how this can be rolled out later on. So here are some of the movement mechanics. You've got crawling, sliding, dodging, wall running, wall jumping, air rolls, but you can also see this in that promo vision. Now, when it comes down to the actual skill-based stuff, you're going to have weapons. And when it comes down to the fighting, you're able to get these weapons in secret rooms, chests, boss drops, and item shops. And these are also going to be kind of randomly kind of put in throughout the levels. And the idea is you're going to be getting short swords, dual daggers, spears, and rope darts. So yeah, those are the weapons that you're going to be kind of using throughout the entire sort of the maps. But then you've also got consumable stuff like bombs. You've then also got gold coins that you can collect, which you can then use in the shop, and then keys for opening doors, health potions, all that good stuff. Now you will get weapons drops in these rooms, but then when we get to actually NFTs themselves and how they kind of incorporate it in the game, they're calling them experiments, and there's a bit of lore around it. But the idea is that there's going to be 10,000 of them. And what you're able to do is you're actually able to upgrade them. So it's a dynamic NFT. So the idea is that you'll go through these levels and you will be getting souls. After you've got a lot of souls, you can then upgrade abilities, unlock things, upgrade the base stats, and then it's reflected in the NFT. So you can actually kind of get a baseline, so you can get like a floor guy. You can then kind of train him up, boost him up, and then kind of sell him because he's got higher stats, which someone else may actually kind of want to purchase. So that is one aspect of like the play to earn. Because you've got a Genesis, what you're then going to be able to do is mint a Gen 2. Now the only difference with a Gen 2 is a Gen 2 won't be able to kind of make anything else. So the idea is that the Genesis will let you kind of be able to kind of mint others, which then expand the ecosystem for people to kind of get in. So you can then work up, get these souls, and then essentially mint new additions, so you can then build out your collection to then obviously on sell on, or then kind of play with. And then you've got the enemies, which are the abominations. So the abominations, what are they? They're essentially the enemies. What you can do is you then mint them. After you've minted them, they essentially go into a pool. Now, what the pool is that is a big giant collection of the enemies. And then when a dungeon is kind of created, what they do is they pull predetermined enemy types, but they actually pull out those individual tokens from the pool. Now you can actually upgrade these enemies, which makes it then even harder for the people to get through. And essentially, because you can upgrade your kind of bad guy, that essentially makes them harder to beat, which means that if the abomination actually kills the guy that's going through, you can actually kind of increase the yield that you get because you've actually done that, which I think is really cool because it kind of plays on that other aspect, and you can actually kind of build up that when they're actually pulled from the pool, so you can actually kind of increase the yield that you're going to get. Now, when it comes down to the in-game currency, which is souls, they're the main currency of the game. How do you get them? You get them by killing enemies and bosses in the game. Then you can also get them through dungeons and the Gen 2 experiments. So the fun part that comes down to the project is the splicing. Now, the way that I like this is the fact that it really does make this inclusive, and it means that it can kind of keep it fresh and keep the game invigorating for people when different seasons come out. And I like the way that they've kind of structured the season. So when it comes down to the drop, it's going to be minting at 0.08 ETH each, and there are going to be 10,000 of them. Now, the way that the current market climate is, 10,000 may be a little bit too much, so that would make me a little bit nervous. But saying that, the mint date is TBA, so if the market does turn around and kind of runs up, then that will be fine. And then on their Discord, they have 17,000 members in their Discord. And then on Twitter, they have 13,000 followers on Twitter. And when it comes down to it, they've got some good people following them, which is great. They're doing some great collaborations and giveaways. Big shout out to Matt's Crypto. and the engagement that they're getting is quite good. Now let's jump over and have a look at the art. We can see that because it is this pixel form, the NFTs will take this kind of shape and this look, which I think is cool and it works for the aesthetic. Pixel art isn't necessarily my favorite, but I think this works really well for the aesthetic that they're going for and what they actually want to do. And I feel like they can play well, especially with any collaborations they want to do later. And then also a side note, we can see here that they've got idea submissions. So people can kind of submit ideas when it comes down to what they would like with game mechanics, enemies, art, things like that. So I think it's cool that they're actually kind of incorporating the community when it comes down to building it, because I feel like that is a cool part, even if it's not necessarily heavily leaned on, but the idea that it's kind of at least drawn from, and if there is something that does kind of pique their interest, it kind of gives someone more incentive to kind of contribute to the game in terms of like their effort, and then also they can then kind of show that they are listening to the community. So that is my kind of rundown of Soul Splicers. This is a super interesting concept, and I really like the fact that it's so far along in development that it actually will kind of run out and you will see something, and you're not going to see someone kind of planning to make a game or planning to hire someone to do it. The fact is these guys can actually do it, and they've actually kind of showing what they're doing, and it's a reasonable price, and I feel like it kind of has enough difference in it that it is going to kind of work out well than just from your standard typical play to earn wolf game style mechanics. So if you found value in this video, please consider hitting up that subscribe button, and while you're down there, also hit up the like button. As always, it's been a pleasure having you with me. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.